Hi everyone, this is Urel Knows. Welcome back to part 3 of the breakdown for Haunt Me. This will be for episode 3. So let's go ahead and get started. I always forget to turn the volume down. So yeah, we start back up with Beast Marley. So this is why I didn't want to get into it just yet. Because as far as his origin and how he came to be, because in the original script, this entire scene, and even the scene before, he was taken out of the whole entire script. I just decided to add him just kind of explore more areas. And also I have a really bad habit of, if I have ideas, I don't like to scrap them. I feel like that's like a waste. Like, it's just a waste. So I always figure out a way to either add it to the same project or to a different one. But yeah, he's starting to feel the effects from that drink. So that's why in the second episode it started doing the zoom into the drink, because something was in there. And so with this part, it's still playing Salim's song from the previous episode. And what I wanted to do is I kind of transitioned it to where it picks off at the same time that it left off with the last one. So, and I kind of edited the audio again, so I won't have any copyright issues. But it pretty much just picks up off at the same time, and it's kind of like a reference to the last episode, but it's also to where in this world Salim was actually performing. And so, like, as soon as he says this, the DJ announcer says, like, "Give it up for Salim. Are you ready for Bees?" And so it's Bees Marley turn up on the stage. And so it's just gonna go for a couple seconds. But yeah, as you can see, he's Bees is not doing well at all. His eyes are starting to get yellow, starting to look crazy, and music starts to change and scenery changes behind him too. So with this infection, so his when he was first, like, in the dream, it happened in reverse. So instead of him being infected, it was actually the entire crowd that was infected, and he was gonna be like stranded there, and that was just gonna be that. But I thought that was not interesting at all, because it was like, I don't know, I kind of I can't really say what I want as far as like what I want to do with the characters, but I don't want to spoil episode 4. But I thought it would just been a waste. So I took that entire part out of like, when I started writing the script, I didn't even include that. But as I started talking to Vanessa and having her create the panels, I started thinking, I was like, oh, it might make sense to add him, because it's all this talk about this infection, but it's like, well, what does it do exactly? So I wrote up like some separate panels for Bees' part. Also, some of those panels with Jacob where he was like in the car talking to that person, that part was originally just supposed to be through text messages, but I was like, well, why not just add some more panels, just give him more description, more like, to where you can see more about Jacob's character. And so yeah, same thing with this one. I added this one on, and same thing with the part with Alvin from the last episode. That part was added on, at least the part where he was like going through her stuff. Like, it was gonna end off where he was just looking at his phone. But in order for future incidents to make sense, that had to happen. So I had to add that. I had to add those parts to show that he's kind of obsessive. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, in the dream, he was arrogant. He was Bees. I'm referring to Bees. He was arrogant, loudmouth, talking crazy to everybody, kind of just like pretentious, and he was just the opposite of how his character is now, or in the actual final product. But yeah, crowd gets infected. It was pretty much just gonna show him like hopping over tables. In the dream, he he gets picked up by a helicopter, which I don't even know how I was even gonna write that with that making sense. But and that was just it. Like it was nothing else for him, but it's kind of nothing else for him, at least on this part too. But I kind of at least want to give people the perspective on, like, everybody keeps talking about this infection, but I wanted to kind of show what the infection does. So it's like a kind of like a hallucinogenic thing, but it also ends up making the person that becomes infected feral. But yeah, so then next shows him like tripping out, throwing the mic stand at everybody, and then it also let's see, yeah, this part right here. So I wanted to do like a juxtapose. So him tripping out, thinking the crowd's going crazy, and in reality he's going crazy, and the crowd is like scared for their lives. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This last part is just gonna show him sitting down, and then Mabel and her partner come and see him, and they say that he's infected and he's crying because he can't control what's happening to him. And then let's see, it opens back up to Alvin talking to Amelia. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. His family's very very irresponsible. So in the middle of a pandemic, they decide to go to Alaska on a retreat and leave him by himself. But yeah, they're just irresponsible, and you know, it just kind of like yeah, don't want to spoil episode 4. But yeah, tell him that his dad tells him like, hey, we're leaving for a few weeks, or about a week or so. My car's on the table in case you're hungry. And that's pretty much it. That scene. This next part is just with Jacob. Shows him like at the pens, and so the pens are kind of like I was saying before. I don't want to say that they're like a jail, but they're kind of built like jails, to where the infected can't get out. And so yeah, so he was pretty much tasked to break open all 4 pens. So yeah, he's on his way doing that. And let's see, so Walter's back. He's just here trying to just on it while he's on his way to this road trip to see his brother. He's just sitting at the bar. He just thinking to himself like, yeah, this isn't my crowd at all. And continues, so picks back up with Mabel and her partner meeting and seeing the dead Meta. And so Mabel starts to talk to her partner, and she pretty much explains her theory that, yeah, she believes that another Meta killed this Meta, and then that she's pretty sure it was controlled by somebody. And so yeah, they pretty much just have that discussion there. So Mia, she's pretty much just sitting back, just chilling out, just like she said in the first episode. She just kind of goes from place to place since she doesn't have a place to go, can't get a job or anything like that. So she's sitting here, and these 2 guys come and they say, someone wants to talk to you. And then it ends up being Micah. So yeah, Micah, he's pretty much like this leader of this resistance group. He pretty much just helps Desi's whenever he can, make sure that they have a safe home, they have a place to stay, not being mistreated, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So this conversation, he pretty much tells her how he really respected what she did, going off on Mabel like that. And then yeah, they're just pretty much just having a whole conversation. He about pretty much like what he does and all that. And then she asks him like, what do you know about this infection? He says that he thinks someone bigger is behind it, and he says something that I always say, like, how I don't know, this just like sometimes how fast the government moves for certain stuff, but then for other stuff it just doesn't make sense. Like, it takes like 3 years for a bridge to get made, but you know, they can do crazy stuff. They can build a B-2 bomber in like 6 months, but yeah, crazy. But anyways, yeah, so that's just his whole thing. He's saying what it is. And so yeah, they pretty much continue to talk about that, and Micah pretty much tells her like, yeah, stuff is getting pretty bad, so we're probably just gonna I'm trying to get as many Desies as I can, and we're all gonna move down south to this place that I know of. And yeah, and so they pretty much have an agreement. She can come with Mike and the crew as long as she can recruit people, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's kind of how she in my dream she was, at least in my dream, was how she was introduced. Was she was protesting like by herself, and she was just, I don't know, that's just characteristics that I have for her, that I always like make sure that I make sure that she has a voice, and she's not afraid to use it, and she knows how to talk to people and to get people to like pull people on her side. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Say thank you, and then this next panel. So this is also added on. Pretty much everything from these panels forward. So the episode was originally supposed to end at this part. I didn't think it was enough. I thought it should have more to it. So a friend of mine had asked me like, oh well, you know, Desi's are a thing. Like, where did they come from? Like, what's their origin? I was like, oh, I don't know. So then I just started thinking about it, and then I kind of made something up, and I was like, okay, well, why don't I just add it to this episode since there's nothing else going on? And with Amelia, she's in the car most of the time, so I was like, oh, well, now she has a way to introduce people into something. So yeah, your dad's talking about playing some tunes from the 80s or from the 90s, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, it's from the 80s, yeah. So then, yeah, she's like, no, I'm good. She's gonna stick to this, and so you get her watching a Netflix series called The Family Behind Desi's. And so yeah, zooms into that, she starts watching it, and viewer gets her perspective on things, at least from watching it. Pretty much just talks about the Wishmores. So yeah, this was not even originally planned in the script or a dream or anything like that. This was just completely added just because somebody asked me about it. But yeah, so I added this part. It goes a little bit details about what happens with Patricia Wishmore, James, his son, his wife. Yeah, he's pretty much a billionaire in this world. Just from him pushing the development of CRISPRs. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. And then as the video, or as the documentary continues, it ends up stopping because Amelia's asleep now. So you'll never really know the truth behind the Wishmores, or will you? No, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, so that's it for this episode. Yeah, and then last one is just, it'll be episode 4. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching the video. Like, comment, and subscribe.